According to a lot of you guys, Mercedes-Benz Club Black is one of the best vanilla fragrances in the world. Mercedes-Benz Club Black is one of the most mentioned fragrances in my comments, especially when I talk about vanilla focused fragrances. So many comments about it, so many comments recommending it, and I went from a sample to a full bottle, and it's time for me to share my thoughts on it. I will go through what it smells like, performance, usage, mass appeal and more in this Mercedes-Benz Club Black review. But before I begin, please drop a like on this video, thank you, and make sure you comment on what you think of this fragrance. Let's take a look at the notes. Bergamot, incense, jasmine, vanilla, benzoin, woodsy note and ambroxan. I'm gonna get to performance, usage and more in a short while, but let's start with what it smells like. Club Black really doesn't waste any time and goes straight into a mix of bergamot and vanilla is listed as a base note, but I'm getting it very early on. Think of vanilla with a bit of citrusy freshness and brightness cutting through. I don't find it to be a prominent dose of bergamot, but it's enough to add a bit of nuance to the vanilla. And it basically adds something extra to it, and without the bergamot, it would just be sort of a plain vanilla. Now there's something else to it as well. Might be the jasmine, but I'm not sure. But there's something else in the opening, and the whole opening is quite a smooth one. It's basically vanilla with a bit of freshness and something else to it, and the whole thing being smooth. The more it starts to dry down, the more I'm picking up on that incense. And the mix to me is pretty much an even stronger vanilla with a soft smokiness from incense, and the whole thing is warmer and a bit sweet. Now when it comes to incense, I've never been that much into the kind that's sort of intensely smoky, churchy, or whatever you want to call it. I do like the scent of incense, but I prefer it being balanced by other notes, and I do like it when it's not the most intense. This is not the kind that I don't enjoy. To me, the incense here adds a soft and sexy smokiness to the vanilla, and basically makes the whole thing more exciting and sexier. The freshness it had in the opening is pretty much gone by now. The mids dominated by vanilla, with a soft but noticeable smokiness to it, and everything is a bit warm and sweet. The further it goes into the dry down, the more sweet it gets, and to me it's still a vanilla focused scent with the soft smoky touch of incense, but it being a bit more sweet. A noticeable change in the dry down is how it's a bit spicy and ambery. So to me it's a smooth vanilla that's softly smoky with a bit of sweetness to it, and the whole thing being a bit spicy and ambery. The sweetness here is almost of the sort of a gourmandy, but not quite. There's almost a yummy vanilla vibe going on without actually going fully into that direction. There's definitely a bit of sweetness to it, but I don't think it's too sweet in any way. The opening is the part that impresses me the least. I mean, it smells good, but nothing special really. The mids is definitely where I feel it starts to get a bit exciting, but it's the full dry down that I enjoy the most. You still get an intense dose of vanilla, but in the dry down, it's this ambery, warm and spicy vanilla, and the incense has softened up even more and basically makes the whole thing more nuanced rather than smoky. I like the dry down quite a bit, but it definitely feels a bit familiar. So let's talk a bit about the vibe of Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Like a mix of something elegant and something sexy, and I think it goes just as well with a pair of jeans and sneakers as it does with a nice suit. So what about compliments and mass appeal? So I currently don't have a lot of wearing time with it, but how it smells and the scent profile is definitely something that's quite mass appealing. Vanilla is the world's most liked scent, and this is vanilla done in a nice way. With that said, the dry down definitely has a higher likability factor to it because of the more sort of a nuanced vanilla and the softer incense. So what about the performance? I do need to wear it more, and I will update you later on, but based on my wearing so far, I think it's definitely above average, but not beast mode when it comes to projection. Perhaps slightly below strong. It performs well basically. It does seem to stay on for hours though, so longevity is approved as well. So projection good for a couple of hours with a sort of a above average to strong rating and solid longevity. With that said, I do not think Club Black is beast mode. So let's talk a bit about usage. The dry down of Club Black is warm and a bit sweet with that soft smokiness to it. So when it comes to seasons and occasions, I do feel this works quite well for fall, winter and spring, and I think it will probably smell great on summer night out as well. Occasions, definitely date night or going out, but I mean this is essentially a vanilla focus scent, and most people do enjoy the scent of vanilla, so basically wear it to work or school if you want to. I really doubt anyone is going to complain. Once again though, the dry down is more likable thanks to the sort of a softer incense, so I would probably let it dry down if you want people to get a whiff of the most mass appealing part of it. Wear it dressed to the nines or rock it with a casual outfit, both work for sure. So who's Mercedes-Benz Club Black for? I think the most sort of obvious thing here is that you should enjoy the scent of vanilla. This is really not a scent for someone who doesn't enjoy the scent of vanilla. The next thing is probably going to be the incense. Even though I do think it's more of the sort of a likable kind of incense, and even though the incense is not an intense one, you probably do need to enjoy the scent of that. If you hate any kind of incense, then this is definitely not for you. If you're a bit like me in that you like less sort of an intense incense and enjoy fragrances where incense is balanced up by other notes, then this might be something for you. Even though I do not think it's overly intense, its sweetness might be a bit too much for some. So if you are sensitive to sweetness or usually stay away from anything sort of a sweet, then yeah, stay away. To me, it's not too sweet. And finally, do not go for this if you usually go for only very complex or super unique scents. While the dry down of it has more nuance to it, it's still not a scent with a lot of uniqueness to it, and it's definitely not a complex kind of scent. So what are some of the alternatives to Mercedes-Benz Club Black? So there are a lot of vanilla focused fragrances out there, but when I thought about alternatives, I right away started to think of two fragrances that also has the combo of vanilla and incense. They are not the same though. The third one actually has a bit of sort of a Club Black vibes, but with a twist. My first alternative is going to be Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Intense. It opens up with a more intense dose of incense, and it has that signature L'Homme Ideal almond note with vanilla. So it's different for sure, and the opening is not for everyone. But when it dries down, it changes into this mix of that fantastic almond with a bit of smokiness to it and a sexy dose of vanilla and woodiness. Not the same, but it combines that fantastic L'Homme Ideal almond that I absolutely love with vanilla and incense. My next alternative is going to be Zadig & Voltaire, This Is Him. A sexy dose of spiciness, vanilla and sandalwood in an ambery and slightly powdered blend. This thing right here is a wicked compliment getter and probably among some of the most mass appealing fragrances with incense in it. The incense in it is definitely a bit more sort of noticeable than Club Blacks, but it's also slightly different. My third alternative is going to be the one that has the most sort of a similarity to Club Black, even though there is no incense in it. Ebhar is mostly about vanilla. It also has a bit of jasmine to it and a sort of a gourmand-like sweetness to it with a prominent fruity side. This line is so underrated, and Ebhar smells absolutely fantastic, and the dry down of Club Black made me think of it. They are not the same as Mercedes-Benz Club Black, but they are alternatives and fragrances I like. So let's talk about price. So I bought this on sale for about 45 bucks, and it usually retails for anywhere between 50 and 60 for 100 ml. I often see this on sale, and I highly recommend either going for that or checking on discounters just to make sure that you avoid paying full retail for it. So how am I going to rate Mercedes-Benz Club Black? So this smells familiar, and what I mean with that is that I do not think it's a super unique scent. There are so many vanilla focused fragrances out there, but what I think separates it at least a little bit from some other vanilla fragrances is the incense, that soft incense. There are far fewer vanilla scents out there with that combo, but even so, I feel it's almost like a combo of different other vanilla fragrances. The opening is the part that impressed me the least. The mids is where things are getting a bit more exciting, but my absolute favorite part of it is the dry down, when the scent has become more sort of a nuance with an even softer smokiness to it. The performance is solid, I like it quite a bit, and the price for 100 ml is really good. This has quickly become one of my favorites. Mercedes-Benz Club Black gets a strong 8.5 from me, and I will definitely enjoy it a lot, and I do recommend it for someone who loves vanilla focused scents. If you try it out, make sure you wait for the full dry down. Wait for the incense to get even softer, and you'll get what I think is the best part of it. I'm also really looking forward to trying it out for layering, as I feel it might be a great one for that. And to answer the question I asked in the beginning of the video, do I think it's the very best vanilla fragrance in the world? No, but I like it a lot. So how do you feel about this fragrance, and how would you rate it from 1 to 10? Make sure you comment below, make sure you subscribe right now. Please drop a like on this video, thank you, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.